Hello, I am Thiên. My name is Trần Thiên from the class VX32NN825C, and today I will present you about ocean acidification. Firstly, we will get in the aim of this whole presentations. We will understand what is ocean acidification is and what counts as what is the main impact of the phenomenon to society, to the environment, and to the ecosystem. So, what is ocean acidification? This is actually an environment catastrophe on the rise, and in general, it's the decrease of the pH level in the seawater. In general, what it's like, how can we explain this? It's like that the seawater is getting sour. Yes, you didn't hear it wrong. It's getting sour because the CO2 start to dissolve more into the seawater. And what caused the rise of the CO2 the concentration? Yes, this is the industrialization of human activities. We mine more coal, we use more fossilized fuel, we ride more car, we fly more flight. That's all the activities that create CO2 and increase its concentration in the atmosphere. The next is the cause. What I say was not the main cause. The main cause was about about the disrupt cycle of the CO2 cycle between the atmosphere and the sea and the ocean. So the ocean surface constantly exchange carbon dioxide with the atmosphere. I mean the carbon dioxide dissolved into the ocean water, and then when the ocean water gets saturated with carbon dioxide, it would release back. But the increase of CO2 concentration in the atmosphere will force to increase the CO2 level in the ocean. As a result, the ocean pH start to decrease. And this effect is further amplified by global warming. Our simple physics fact that is increase of the temperature will increase the what you call it, dissolution of a specific gas. So that means when the whole globe start to increase temperature, the ocean temperature is also increased. Thus, it could absorb more CO2 into the ocean, and the ocean pH will constantly decrease, and the ocean keep and go on and go on, and it keep getting acidification. The general effect of this can't be measured by our current models, but we can deduce that in general it would decrease the ocean health. You could think the whole ocean like a big body, a body that has intricate interaction between organisms, and these intricate interactions will decide the ocean general health and decide the healthiness of an ecosystem. By increasing the CO2 level that dissolved in the water, some species get some species is actually more sensitive to that, especially what some species we call it pacified marine organism. We would get back into this topic later. So this means that biodiversity is affected, food chain is affected, and zooplankton is also affected as well. Now we get back to what we mean about decreased calcification of marine organism. There is a specific type of organism on calcified marine organism, which are organisms which can construct what you call a carbon calcite exoskeleton, like it's not actually exoskeleton, but in general sense, it's like that. A calcite cell, like mollusk cells, scallop, coral, especially corals, because they are a key part of the reef and a very sensitive part of global marine ecosystem. So when the CO2 level increase, the pH decrease. The calcification, which is a chemical process, is very hard to explain. Uh, it's get harder because the calcification get easier when the pH is high, and it's get harder when the pH is low. It's like you put an eggshell into vinegar, it gets softened. It's like that. The coral cell will get softened and softened in the higher pH level environment, and this is not healthy for the coral. As a result, we could see mass coral bleaching in the Great Barrier Reef. Decrease of ocean, what you call decrease of the ocean CO2 level entrapment. What does this mean? As I say, ocean harms CO2s, and it doesn't only harm carbon dioxide in that way. It could create sediments, and the sediment is more stabilized at high pH and in the deep sea level. And when the CO2 level rise, the pH start to decrease. These sediments will start to release CO2 back into the ocean and create a deadly feedback cycle in that the ocean will release back the CO2 into the atmosphere because it gets saturated. And because of this, it creates another feedback cycle that the greenhouse effect and the CO2 concentration level in the air getting higher and higher over time, and the ocean getting more acidified over time. So the impact of this is not measured by any number or any model of us, but we could say that it has a strong impact on fisheries and any seafood, what you call it, seafood aquaculture industries like shellfish and mollusks. It could also increase the death bloom. What is the death bloom anyway? Death bloom is the phenomenon that's when you have eutrophication. Eutrophication means that the water has had excessive nutrients. It leads into the algae, what you call it? Algal blooms. And ocean acidification has increased CO2 level. It would further increase the algal bloom process and elongate the duration of the phenomenon, thus causing a lot of fish die, causing ecosystem destruction, and a lot of consequence to human health as well. Fisheries is affect strongly on fish larvae. A lot of fish has to go to a larval state, and this larval state is very sensitive to pH change. Thus, decrease in pH change means a lot of them will die, and thus the fish population in the ocean will decrease as well as a consequence of ocean acidifications. Yes, and thus it would affect the fishery and seafood industries, especially seafood that is calcifies marine organisms like mollusks and scallops. It's also further advanced the anthropogenic extinction and decrease of temporal diversities. Why do I say this? Because simply the whole process will lead to a lot of marine species. It will lead a lot of them to extinction, like direct extinction, because they can't just adapt to the change of the water temperature and the water chemistry change, and thus they die en masse. And we are starting to research about this effect only recently. how ocean acidification causing extinction. These are the main point about a very important but usually neglect what you call usually neglect environmental problems because it's mostly that it's affect too little compared to the general global warming, but this is also a consequence of the increased CO2 level. Thank you for listening.